Are you gonna film with me? Are you gonna film with me? Hello everyone, I'm Brianna and welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are having a great start to your 2021. I know Tofu and I are killing it this year. She's having just some zoomies in the background, so don't mind her. I had a really nice winter break. I spent a lot of time with my family. We hung out a lot just at home with my puppy, and my parents are obsessed with her and so is my sister. So I had a really restful time and I hope you guys did too. In the spirit of restfulness and warmth and family, I wanted to make this video for you guys to recommend some of my favorite comfort reads to start off your 2021 right. Whenever I feel a little bit stressed out or down, I always read books to kind of escape from the situation. And the ones I'm about to recommend to you guys were a big help for me last year, so I hope you guys find the same joy and warmth from these novels that I did.
If you haven't heard, Book of the Month is a super popular and fast-growing online book service for readers. Their mission is to promote new and emerging authors and help readers like us discover books that we'll love. Every month, their team goes through hundreds and hundreds of books, and they provide a curated selection of both new and early release titles so that readers like us can spend more time reading and less time researching what we should read next. Book of the Month is also totally risk-free. If there is a month that you don't like the selections that they have picked, you can go ahead and skip it at any time and you will not be charged for that month. Additionally, Book of the Month also has the best price for new release hardcover fiction. You can get your first book this month for just $9.99 with the code NEWBOOKS. Some of my favorite books from last year, including Anna K by Jenny Lee, Pachinko by Minjin Lee, and Circe by Madeline Miller, were books that I discovered through Book of the Month service. January's selection includes some books that I know both me and my sister were looking forward to quite a bit. The Survivors is about a man who returns to his childhood home, and one day, when a body washes up on the beach, many of his old secrets threaten to emerge. The dating plan follows two people who enter a fake engagement, both trying to please their families. Will they be able to do this without falling in love? Who's to say? The Prophets is a love story between two enslaved men who find solace and comfort with each other in the middle of a cruel world. The Removed follows the story of a Cherokee family trying to repair broken bonds in a family that's still reeling with grief 15 years after the death of their son. Outlawed is a story about a gang of outcast women who must enact a dangerous scheme in order to build a more hopeful future for them all. I love the service that Book of the Month provides, and I always love working with them, so definitely check out the description below to join all the fun. Now back to the video.
The first novel I wanted to recommend is The Girl and the Ghost by Hanna Alkaf. The Girl and the Ghost is a middle grade novel inspired by Malaysian culture and folklore. It follows our main character Soraya, who basically inherits a ghost from her grandmother. This ghost becomes her best friend and her biggest confidant. You get to see their relationship as she grows up, from being a toddler when she inherits him to becoming a young teenager, or I think maybe like 12 years old by the end of the book. And I think the story is just so beautiful. I love how Hanna Alkaf writes her novels. I think that the world building is really gorgeous. I don't know how to explain it. It's not so much of a fantasy setting because it's set in Malaysia, but it's like the way she describes the countryside and Soraya's surroundings, everything just feels so real. Like you can feel the crickets chirping, you can feel the warmth in the air if it's summertime, and the way she describes everything is just so vivid and wonderful, and I think it's perfect to escape by reading this book because it's just such vivid imagery and the characters themselves are so heartwarming. I love reading middle grade novels when I want to find something comforting, and The Girl and the Ghost is a great example of that. The friendship between the girl and the ghost, Soraya, and her ghost is amazing, but also I want to mention that the friendship between Soraya and her best friend Jing is also so sweet. They are two girls who meet at school, and then the same way that children become friends so fast, they start to develop a really strong bond in just a matter of moments, and it's so warm, and they are ride or die for each other from the jump, and I loved reading it, and I can't recommend this book enough. If you're kind of looking to expand your reading horizons and read a bit more diversely, this is a book I highly suggest reading, and I always want to support more Southeast Asian authors, so this is a must read for you guys. I hope you guys all check it out and then let me know what you think. The next two books I want to recommend are actually graphic novels, and I feel like these are particularly fun and easy to read when you're feeling a little bit stressed out and don't want to dive into like a 500-page strong fantasy novel. This is something really nice to kind of just ease yourself into the reading space and escape through really gorgeous pictures and fun stories. The first graphic novel I want to recommend is Heartstopper by Alice Oseman. I've mentioned this graphic novel series a couple of times and I just can't recommend it enough. I think that the storytelling is just so sweet and the art is really, really, really cute. So if you're looking for something to escape into, a little romance that you want to find, this one is a great one to start off with. Heartstopper follows the story of two characters, Nick and Charlie, who meet at school and fall in love. It's kind of the beginning of their love story in the first book, how they meet, how they start developing feelings, and the little heart fluttering that you get when you read the story is just the best. The graphic novel does have a couple of triggering topics discussed within it, as does The Girl and the Ghost I mentioned previously, so of course everything will always be down below, so you guys can check that out before you delve into the novel. But overall, I think Heartstopper, what it does really well is it really encapsulates those feelings of puppy love, of those first crush moments when you're thinking about someone a lot and you're like, do I like them or is this just a phase? And I do actually really like reading about crushes more than like really passionate love, because I think the puppy love feelings are the most, I don't know, I don't want to keep saying heart fluttering, but that's like when you feel the butterflies in your stomach secondhand. When you feel the butterflies in your stomach secondhand from reading about two characters falling in love, it's just the best thing and it's so wholesome. So if you guys have the chance to check out Heartstopper, please do. The second graphic novel I want to recommend is actually super short. It is called The Tea Dragon Society. This is another instance of the art just being so cute that it warms your soul looking at it. The story is fairly short and simple, and it follows a group of people who work at a tea dragon society, and essentially they raise these little dragons who make the leaves for tea. So like I think it's their scales or something that makes the tea. That's like the folklore within the story, and it's just about this cute little found family, and then they raise dragons together and then make tea. And if that sounds extremely wholesome to you, that's because it is. The art is to die for. I'll put maybe some examples here if I can find any online. The pictures, really, it's worth 1,000 words because you get to see the development of relationships within it, friendships, and then you get to see like there's these montages of adventures, like these flashbacks that some of the characters have to how they had met and how their relationships had formed. And just through a couple of pictures, like I was so moved by it and I became so invested in these characters, and I only had just like a handful of pages and pictures to go off of. So I think that the way the author, who I think they now go by Kay O'Neill if I'm not mistaken, they wrote such a heartwarming story that pulls you in so quickly, even though it's super short. I think that's something really magical and wonderful to be able to do as a writer and as an artist. So if you guys have the chance, please check out the Tea Dragon Society and show some support to the author. The first YA contemporary I want to talk about is Darius the Great Is Not Okay by Adib Khorram. This one is one I finished reading very recently towards the end of 2020, and I absolutely fell in love with it. So many people had said it was going to be a 5-star read, and it was their favorite book of the year, and I finished it and it became one of my favorites and a 5-star read. Darius the Great Is Not Okay is this gorgeous story about a Persian American boy named Darius. He is a teenager who is super nerdy. He sees himself as being conventionally unattractive, and he suffers a lot of bullying at school and doesn't have that many friends, and he feels like he doesn't really fit in, and he suffers from depression. And for a couple of weeks he gets to fly back to Iran to spend time with his family because his grandfather is suffering from a brain tumor. So he, his sister, and his parents fly back to be able to spend time with his grandparents. There he wants to start connecting back to his Iranian roots. He meets new people and makes a new friend in a boy named Sorab. The way that he writes familial relationships, interpersonal relationships, I think is so incredibly beautiful, and that's what this novel does so well, is that the way that Darius reacts and engages with other characters in the novel feels so legitimate. And even if you're frustrated with the way that he tackles issues that come his way, you can completely understand why he went about it the way that he did. And I find that Darius is such a relatable character in that sense, especially with the beautiful writing that Adib Khorram has. It just moved me so much, and especially the last couple, I'm like getting choked up talking about it, but like the last couple chapters of the book were so moving and emotional. And this book talks a lot about how you can lose someone you love without physically losing them, whether it be to depression, about how it doesn't have to be the end of a life to lose someone, but they become a shell of the person they once were. In terms of his grandfather, I'm getting emotional talking about it. You can see how much this book meant to me. But like in terms of his grandfather, the brain tumor had affected the way that he remembers things and the way that he interacts with people and basically changed his personality. So if you want something that's gonna move you to tears talking about it like a month later, Darius the Great is Not Okay is a great book to read. This is so embarrassing. Sorry, I didn't mean to cry, but this is definitely something I was reading when I was really stressed out and I wasn't sure about how to deal with a lot of issues in my life, and reading this through and seeing these interpersonal relationships develop, especially between Darius and his father, and Darius and Sarab, his friend, just so moving. And I don't want to say lifted my spirits, but kind of just like gave me a hug and told me that the struggles I'm going through are temporary, and because I have such a great support system in my life, just like Darius does, that things will work out and be okay. And that, I think, is what this book brings that I find so valuable and find so comforting. So again, if you're like me, you want to read something like this, sounds interesting to you, definitely check out Darius the Great is Not Okay, one of my favorite books from 2020. Next, I have another middle grade novel I wanted to recommend. This one is a series. It is Nevermore, The Trials of Morgan Crow by Jessica Townsend. This book was recommended to me by my friend Monica Kim, whose channel I will link below. Monica and I are co-hosts of the Magical Girl Society, which is a book/anime club that we host via Discord, and sometimes we do live shows on YouTube. It is super fun, and Nevermore was our book pick for November of last year, and its sequel Wondersmith is our pick for January. I have now read all 3 of the books in the series that have been published. Nevermore is the first one, which I'll talk about today. I absolutely adore middle grade novels. You guys probably saw that if you follow me on Goodreads. I've only been reading middle grade novels basically for the past 2 months just because they're the best. I love reading middle grade so much. Nevermore in particular, I love. It is set in this fantasy world called Nevermore, and it follows our main character named Morgan Crow. Morgan has been told from the day that she was born that she was a cursed child who was destined to die on the night of her 12th birthday. When that time comes, a secretive, mysterious, magical man named Jupiter North comes and sweeps her away to the land of Nevermore and tells her that she has some special skills and that she's going to enter these trials in order to join what is called the Wonder Society. And in the midst of all of this, she gets transported from her regular life where she was told she was cursed and all the townspeople hated her and blamed her for everything, into this magical world where it seems like anything is possible. She has to struggle to get through all of these trials in order to get into the Wonder Society, which she doesn't even know what it is. And all the while she makes a bunch of new friends who are all zany. She meets all these interesting characters like Finester, who's my favorite character, who is a giant cat. I absolutely love how fantastical and whimsical middle grade novels can be, and Nevermore, the series in particular, I think there's going to be 6 or 7 books total, just has not disappointed me. I have read 3 of the series now. That's all that's been published, which I'm so upset about because I want to just devour the rest of the series immediately, but I have to wait. The characters are so heartwarming. I think what middle grade series do so well is they introduce you to a cast of characters that you grow so attached to so quickly. And because with children, you know how you meet someone on the playground and then you're best friends the next moment, that's how it feels when you read middle grade novels. It gives you the hope that like people are truly good on the inside, that goodness always triumphs over evil, that there's always going to be hope for good things to happen, and the power of friendship and love, that anything is possible. And reading Nevermore and seeing Morgan Crow develop into this amazing, confident little girl is just the best. I can't explain enough or recommend enough this book series to people. One of my friends, Olivia Savannah from Olivia's Catastrophe, is also hosting a read-along for this series as well, and I'll link that down below, her announcement video for that. I just like, I'm so grateful to Monica for recommending this book to me because I read the series so quickly and it's so lovely. I think it's just such beautiful world building, really amazing characters, a lot of fun lore, and it's great. Middle grade is amazing, and anyone who says otherwise is just a sad sack, I must say. And with that, that's all for me. My puppy is now asleep on her bed at my feet, and I will talk to you guys again next time. I hope you're all doing well. Also, I hope you guys like my sweater. My brother's girlfriend got this for me for Christmas. That is my puppy Tofu right there on my chest. And have a wonderful rest of your week. I love you guys very much. Happy New Year, because I didn't get to say that earlier on, and I'll see you all again next time. Bye.